Hello and welcome to Command and Conquer. This is episode 0, sort of prologue to my pair of series that I'm kicking off, which are both Generals and Zero Hour, and my quest to 100% completing both of them. This video that you're watching, there won't be any gameplay in it. This is just me talking, and I'm just going to go on a massive nostalgia trip because I really want to, and it's very prudent to remember your roots. Alright, so we're going to cut after this to a recording that I recorded a good couple of weeks ago when I was back home from university in my hometown, and yeah, I will let you get straight there. We used to go around to like one of my dad's friends called Billy, went to his house, and I remember watching him on his little old computer playing Command & Conquer Generals. And it was incredible. Like, I'd only really seen my mum play Warcraft 3, and I think a bit of Frozen Throne, and a handful of Tycoon games and stuff like Rome Total War, and Empire Rise of the Middle Kingdom, Settlers 4, quite a few of the other, like, great games. But seeing, like, modern military stuff, and, like, tanks and all of this other really awesome stuff, like, fighting each other in, like, a modern setting and not, like, fantasy or whatever, like, that was something else. It was honestly incredible. But for the main story, I want to take you back to the 7th of February 2006. 13 years ago. 14 years ago. 13 years ago. There we go, we got there in the end. And it was the day before my birthday, so my birthday's February the 8th. And coincidentally, the day that Command & Conquer the First Decade was to release, I already knew that my parents were getting me Command & Conquer the First Decade for my birthday. I'm actually sat with it on my desk right in front of me now. I'm holding the exact same box and the exact same copy and looking at it right now. And I remember being given this 13 years ago by my parents. We got it at play.com like a week earlier, and I sat with them when they ordered it. And so it came 7th of February, and I get home from school and my dad's there waiting for me with it, and he's like, it came a day earlier and we know how excited you've been, so take it upstairs and I'm going to make a cup of tea and then we'll go install it upstairs. And I was honestly so excited. Like, it came the day before my birthday. I got a gift early for the first time ever. And he was like, oh yeah, there must have been a mix-up with Play.com or whatever. They must have delivered it a day early before release day or whatever. And it's like, looking back on it now, I know that it released like 7th of February. It was the day before. But like back then, I'm this little like 7-year-old kid who is so unbelievably excited for it. And it was honestly so good. I can remember being like that excited, but I remember I took it upstairs and I waited for him and he came upstairs and we started installing, and this was still when we were on like old, not that great computers, and we started installing and went downstairs to like watch some cartoons or whatever on TV or something. I have no idea. And I remember after like every episode of whatever we were watching, I'd go upstairs and check the percent of the download, like 30%, 50%, 70, whatever, and I remember that it got to 80%. And I decided to just sit there and wait it out, like just watch the percentage bar tick up. I remember this because it was installing all the different games, and I remember it going like Yuri's Revenge, Generals, Zero Hour, done. And I remember that it finished maybe like 15 minutes before my bedtime or something. And I remember just how sad I was because like I couldn't play it, and I knew I had like an entire day of school ahead of me and blah blah blah. Like, I just, and my parents let me stay up and play one skirmish game. I wasn't allowed to start the campaign or anything. At this time, I didn't even really know the difference or what it was or anything. I don't think I'd ever played like a Command & Conquer game or anything, and I wouldn't have really thought through it. It's just like, just do a skirmish because it's, kind of quick. And I remember that I picked the regular USA because that's what I'd seen Billy play a few times. And I don't remember who I was up against, but I remember I was on the map Final Crusade, which is still my favourite map to this day. And there's the bridge in the middle and a land bridge in the south, and you could defend it and basically have like total war bridge battles in Command & Conquer. And I remember I built up as like the base USA, none of the like specific generals or anything, and I got like my first tanks going and stuff, and they were all sat outside the war factory, and I was so happy and excited, and then bedtime came. But I remember my dad like having to tear me off the computer and just explaining to me that all I have to do is save the game and pick it up again the next day. And I did, and yeah, I could always come back to it tomorrow, so I did. and I played that game every day for years. I managed to get the award for 1,000 battles. I beat challenge mode multiple times. I won against the highest difficulty AI many times. And I felt so achieved, you know, beating like multiple very difficult opponents, especially considering I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old at the time. Ignore the fact that the game's 12 and up, I've just realised on the box. That's fine. Honestly, it was brilliant, and I remember as I continued sort of later into life, every day that a new one was released, I would get it on that day, like Tiberium Sun, or Tiberium Wars, Kane's Wrath. I can see them all like next to me as well, because I've got all the discs to take up to uni with me, and everything all the way through to even the piece of garbage that was Tiberium Twilight. But I got them all on the day, I installed them and I played them, but every single time I found myself going back to 0 Hour, and yeah, I went, even with the first decade, I played Yuri's Revenge, and I loved that game. I played the original Generals, and I loved that as well. Like, I remember playing Renegade, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I guess I'm like in the minority there, but every time I go back to 0, and yeah, I think it's about the time that I revisit it again. Now that I'm an adult, I reinstalled it at the beginning of this summer, so like 2 months ago, and started playing again. And I'm really, really excited to start playing again, and I've decided I'm going to record it, because this way I can just look back, and I can also make this video, which I know my dad's going to appreciate, and I hope Billy sees it, and my mum and stuff, because they'll all understand, and yeah, it's going to be great. I know this is going to be awesome, so welcome to my journey. It's time to 100% some games. But yeah, thank you all for watching. So we've gone through both the games, you can see my progress, you can see where we're at, and I think you should have an idea now of what I want to do with this, which is 100% completion of both games, because I need to do it at least once. So thank you all for watching this. It's been really, really great putting this together, and there's a lot of nostalgia and memories here, and I'm really looking forward to showing it to the people who I spoke about here. But yeah, thank you everybody, and welcome to the journey.